Okay, here is my new 1800 watt scooter from Scooter Wholesale. This came in the mail in about 4 days after I ordered it. Very quick. I noticed when I purchased this, I had to adjust the chain because it was slightly tight. And what I did was I loosened it up slightly, so there's just a little play in there because it was much too tight, and I oiled it up with this Epic Ride White Lightning lubricant, bicycle chain lubricant. I also adjusted the shocks so they're a little more springier in the back by moving this way. And also what I did was adjusted the front one so there's a little more shock in there too, so it's a little more springier. On this, the brakes work very well. Here's how you turn it on, and over here are the lights which tell you full, half, and empty. Now, they don't want anybody under 16 years old to ride this, and obviously you know, you want to wear a helmet. This thing is pretty fast. It came with a nice toolkit with everything in here. And how it is when you charge it, you pop the seat up by pulling this pin out right here. You pull this pin out and this whole unit comes out. Now you can adjust this up and down here and adjust the seat forward or back slightly. And how this is once you pop this seat mechanism out of here, this cover right here lifts right up, and that's where the battery is. Now they want you to charge the battery in an area where in an open area, not unattended, because they are LiPo batteries, and you know, you don't want to have any problem with any fires or anything. So you want to make sure that you charge it in an open area, or you're keeping an eye on it, you know, and where you can just make sure that there's no problem. And it folds up. Right here is a lever. It folds right up, and obviously when you do fold it up, you got to take the seat post out. So when you charge it, if you want to charge it by itself without being in the bike, they recommend you to leave it in the bag that it comes in. It's got two little straps. The batteries are pretty well reasonable for something like this. They're only about $400 for on sale, so you can get it for about $400 on sale. And I noticed when I ran it a couple times and charged it a couple times that it lasts a lot longer. I guess the battery's got to break in, and once you charge it and get so many charges on it, the batteries will you'll get more time on it riding around as it energizes and de-energizes, energizes and de-energizes. So that's the T1800 watt scooter. And as you notice on this, there is a 14-inch wheels on this. Now on the tires, they recommend you to put air in them to 45 pounds. You put air in them to 45 pounds because when you get them, they're roughly about 15 or 20 pounds, and when it's shipped or it's in its crate, that's what the type of pressure that is actually in the tire when it's being shipped. But when you go to ride it, they want you to fill them up to 45 pounds pressure. So that's what I did. And they're very knobby. You've got probably a good half an inch. Look at the threads on this thing. Got about half an inch depth on this. So yeah, they're very knobby tires. They're 14-inch. But like I said, you want to adjust the chain, make sure you got a little wiggle in it. and so it runs a little better. So I'm trying to think about anything more I can tell you on this. So make sure when you charge it, now you can charge this, there's an adapter that you can charge it by itself without being in the bike, but you want to leave it in the bag. So you can take the whole bag out, and there's an adapter you can hook up and charge it without it being in the bag itself. Or I'm sorry, in the scooter itself, but you want to leave it left in the bag. They say when you charge it, don't take it out of the bag. One other thing here is the brakes are really good, and excuse me, the brakes work really well, and obviously they're disc brakes. And as you see here, you've got rotors here, front, and rotors back. Now it's a little muddy. I was going through the mud, so there's a little mud on it, but the paint job chrome is perfect on it. It's really, really nice. Okay, so if there's any questions on this 1800 watt scooter, let me know. Oh, one more thing I forgot. She climbs my hill pretty good at about a 30 or 40 grade on it, about a 30 or 40 degree grade. I would like to get the hill climbing sprocket for it. You can order, and I'm trying to get a hold of the people to order it. It's a wider sprocket here in the back with they're going to give you obviously a longer chain, because the diameter on this back wheel would be coming out to around here. Now you're going to lose about 30, I think they said 30% speed on it, but if you're living on hills like I do around here, you'd want to get the hill climbing sprocket, which is $60. I haven't seen it on the parts list, so I had to call them up, and hopefully they'll get back to me on it, and so I can pick a hill climbing sprocket for it. And like I say, you're going to lose about 30% on the speed, but it'll climb the hill a little bit better. So it'll be a little, diameter will be a little larger, and then obviously on this here, you're going to get a little longer chain with that, like I did with my 1200 watt scooter. So on this here, that's about it. You've got about 6 inches clearance here from the top of the board where you stand on to the bottom. But if you notice, you've got another, probably, I would have to say, almost another foot from the ground to the top, the bottom of this case here where the LiPo battery goes. And if you notice on the bottom, you've got air clearing air vents on the bottom, and there's a little mud on the bottom yet. You've got vents on the bottom, air vents. Losing my voice here. So gosh, I think I ran over everything with this. It moves out pretty good. So if you want to get the hill climbing sprocket separately, it's about $60, and the batteries they're about on sale. I see it on the site for about $400, and that's pretty cheap for a LiPo battery. Gosh, and the seat will come up more here. This is adjustable if you want, but this is not a scooter for some young kid or child. They recommend you have this for somebody who is 16 age or older, and obviously you'd want to wear your safety goggles or your helmet or your knee pads or whatever. But for me, I'm just going up and down the hills a little bit here now and there, so I don't go real fast with it, and I don't want to get hurt. So that's the 1800 watt electric scooter. It comes with a nice charger, by the way. Oh, I forgot to tell you. It comes with a nice charger, by the way. And the charger has a red light on it when it's charging. And it plugs right in here. Right here in the socket on the side. And then you put the cover back down. Now, when it's excuse me, when it's charging, what happens is there's a red light on the box, and it runs real cool, and it has a built-in little fan in it. But the fan has not run when it was charging at all. The motor actually up and down the hill was pretty cool. I'm very surprised at it. It ran really cool, and it's got a much more powerful controller on it now. I see on their site it's got a much more powerful controller, and there is a fuse built in, which I forgot to mention, in line with the battery. Now, what you want to do when you start, because it's unhooked and the fuse is out, there's going to be a little spark if you hook the fuse into the compartment when you first do it, and it's in the directions. And I pulled it out right away because I kind of got scared. I don't know what was going on, but they said that's normal. What I would do on this when you plug the battery in is first plug the battery in the connector that goes to the motor, and then plug the fuse in. Don't plug the fuse in first and then plug the connector to the motor secondly. Plug the connector to the motor first and then pop the fuse in. And there's a little rubber cover that goes over that, because you will get a spark and it will scare you. But in the instructions that's what they say happens. And it was a little bit of a shock to me when I first plugged this fuse in first before I plugged the connector into the motor. So that's what you want to do. So any questions on this, just comment on this. This is my second one. I have a 1200 watt, but this is more powerful. Oh, the price. The price, if you get it on eBay, you're going to pay a couple hundred, or I think it's about $100 more compared to than if you do get it right. Go right to their scooter wholesale site. And the scooter wholesale site will give you the price of something like $1,100 on this, and you won't have to pay that extra $100 if you get it through eBay. Now, I wanted an orange one. It comes in black, orange, and white, and they were out of the orange. So I says, just send me the white, and I like the white. It's nice. And because they were out of stock with the orange till the middle of July, I think. So if you wanted the orange, you'd have to wait for that. So everything else on it is really heavy-duty machine. Look at this, all solid. There's no plastic. It's all solid here, very heavy-duty. They give you a little rubber cushion here. It comes apart with Velcro. Give you an extra key. This is your extra key. Like I say, they give you a nice toolkit, really nice. Got everything in the toolkit you could possibly want for this, everything. But like I say, I adjusted the chain because it was too tight, and I got a little slack in it. That's the way you want it. So that is the 1800 watt T1800 watt electric scooter, lithium battery. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed this video. Bye now.